This conference will
platform.Boomi.com,
now
right?
be recorded.
To log into Boomi, right, you have to write platform.Boomi.com. Once you have write the platform.Boomi.com, it will ask you for username and the password, okay? And then you can go for the go to integrations, okay? Once you go to integrations, it will take you to the Boomi Canvas, okay? So this is the Boomi Canvas. So this is the complete Boomi platform. That's how it's look like, okay? On the left hand side, you will see this part is called component explorer, where you are going to create your folder and all your component would be staying over here. Component processes, whatever the functions you will write it over here, it's going to stay over here, okay? And this middle part where you are having the shapes, that you are going to utilize it to make the flow. And this space has been given to make your flow, okay? So this complete space has been given to make your flow. Here, what you need to understand is, right, how you are going to build the integrations, right? So to build the integrations, right, Boomi has given some shapes. So you see this execute, logic, and connect. Okay. So these three parts is there. In execute, we have map, set property, message, notify, program command, process call, route, data process, find, change, add to cache, remove from cache, retrieve from cache, remove from cache. Okay, so these are I think 12 shapes, and then over here it's a 10 logic, right? Branch, route, clearance, decisions, exceptions, stop, return, document, flow control, business rules, try, catch. Okay, so these are the shapes you need to be well versed. You need to be aware of that, how you are going to configure and all. Okay, then only you can build a interface. Connect, right? This is just an endpoint to connect. Some ready-made connectors has been given over here, right? So depending upon the requirement, you have to choose it. Let's say, for example, you want to connect to a database, right? So you have to bring the database over here, and then you have to configure these connectors, right? So database, which database is? Let's say, for example, it's an Oracle, right? So username, password, host, port, database name, and then you have to test it. Okay. The similar way for other connectors as well, right? Let's say, for example, is the Salesforce, right? So you have to bring the over here, then it's you have to go to Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
Salesforce. Once you go to Salesforce, again you have to establish the connectivity. So what is the username, password, and all, right? So what I mean to say is this connector, right? It's basically an endpoint to connect it, whatever the connector is there. So right? It's simple one to connect it, right? Once you retrieve the data, execute and logic is the main thing over here. Okay. So in execute, these many shapes are there, and in logic, these many. I think 22. This is in execute. We have a 12 plus over here 10 shapes are there, right? So you need to be clear about this one, how to configure it. That's all over here, right? Once you clear over here, right, your job's done. Nothing much complex is there over here. Okay.
Okay.
So execute and logic is important. Okay, from here only you are going to build an interface. Let's say, for example, your requirement is that you need to store something, right? Let's say, for example, you want to store some values. So how do you know which shapes I'm going to use it to store? So for that, set property is there, right? Here you are going to store it. So on top it's written 2 lines, right? This is also very important, which will give you the brief idea, right, what this shapes is doing. Okay. So in a nutshell, right, what I'm saying is this execute and logic is you need to be aware of. Rest, nothing is there in the Boomi. You can build the interfaces. Once you build the interfaces, then deployment and all activity, it's the simple stuffs, right? So you have to go to the deploy tab, right? So you have to deploy it, whatever your process is there, you are going to deploy it over here. And this is the process reporting page, and atom management is there, right? So in atom management page, you are going to see all your runtime engines, right? Whatever you have installed. So in Boomi, we used to say it's an atom, right? Atom or molecule. So I'll show you how to install the local atom as well, and how to configure this atom environment page, right? So this is the atom environment page, and then you have to come to the process reporting page, right? This is the page where you will see all your process would be running after deployment, right? Your process would be scheduled and running, right? Sometime it's a listener web services, right? Or it's a scheduled processes, right? All processes would be, you would be able to see over here in the process reporting page. Okay, so this process reporting page for your to monitor the processes whether it's working fine or not, right? So we have a build, deploy, manage. Build is for building your processes. Okay, you have to build it similar to like this. Deployment, you are going to attach to your process to some runtime engine, right? Once it's done, then executions part you can see it in the process reporting page. Okay, so these are very simple. Okay, only thing is that you need to aware of this execute and logic. That's all. So once you are aware of this execute, how to configure, how to use it, what is the functions of each one, right? Your job done over here. Because since you know the integrations well, right? So that's what it's there over here.
Okay. So something as simple as an API, which require like OAuth 2 to get a token, and then call an endpoint to, for example, get clients list, for example, the get. So each time the process run, it will go through the process from the beginning. Like it will require like a new token, requesting a new token, and making a call. Like how this will work.
So,
Like in,
so what you have to do is, right, let's say for example, each time, right, each time you need to get the token, right? So we need to see how that mechanism is working, right? So basically for you have to use the HTTP client, where it is, this one, HTTP client, you have to use it. Okay, so get and send, you have to use it, right? And which here, while giving the URL authentications, right, here you will see whatever auth 1, auth 2, right? You are going to configure it, all this stuff over here. Okay,
yeah.
and depending upon that, like most of the applications nowadays is not username password, right? You have to first log in with username password, and then it will give you the authentication token. That token you have to pass it in the next step, right, to get the required data, correct? So something like that. So for that, you have to use the HTTP client connector, or we have to look into the that manual, that application's manual, right? How we can retrieve the data. So they used to provide it, right? So, but yeah, generally it's a REST services, right? It's the token. You have to go to this, and then you have to authentication type. You have to choose auth 2 or auth whatever it's there, right? So here scope is there for get the token.
Okay. Okay. What about like, does Boomi give me an option also to build my own API, or only to consume an API?
No. Both things you can do it with the Boomi. Boomi used to, like, you can expose your API as well, and you can consume your API as well. Both is possible.
You mean I can build my own API through Boomi also?
API means here, like, API means what you are talking about, like the endpoints.
Yeah, like I want to build, for example, an API for my clients to
You,
call.
yes, that is the services, right? Basically, that is the web services you are going to expose it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So web services exposing, see, you can expose the web services and you can consume the services. And if you are, another point, if you are looking to build the API similar to like this, whatever is given over here, right? You can build it, right? But you might not have the access to build that. But there is a way to build it, and you can populate it in this drop down. There is a way. Okay.
Okay.
For that, for that, you need to write an email to Dell, okay, Dell guy, because this is the product of Dell. They will either they will write you, or they will give you the access to the platform where you can write the Java code and you can add it over here. So that
Okay.
is also an options. Web services, if you want to expose, consume, you don't have to do anything. It's given already given over here, right? If you want to expose it, right, then you have to go over here. You have to go to the connector. Here you have to choose web service server. Okay. You have to choose web service server and then listener. Its actions would be automatically listener. Go to actions. You are going to configure this stuff over here. Okay. And then you can deploy this web services. You cannot test it. You have to deploy. And then you have to go to the atom management to get the endpoints URL. And then you can test with the SOAP UI. Okay. So this
So in
is
this
the
case,
huh?
sorry, in this case, Boomi will become like the gateway, similar to AWS API gateway or Azure API gateway.
Yeah.
Can this
So
be
you have
done through Boomi also? Like similar
to,
to, like I can do this in Boomi similar to AWS API gateway and Azure API gateway?
yes, that you can do. That's what I'm saying, right? So you have to deploy your process, then you have to go to process somewhere where you have to be. You have to go to the atom management. I'll tell you, right?
Yeah,
And then go to whichever the environment is there. You go over here, go to shared web service server. You will find the base URL, user management. You create the user and allow the process over here. This will give you the endpoints. So this is the base endpoint here. It's giving, okay. What
okay,
you have to do is for complete endpoint, whatever the processes you have built it, you have to attach it over here. That I'll show you. Okay. So this
okay,
whole part is with respect to exposing. If you want to consume the API, right? Then what you have to do is there is something called web service soap client. Okay.
uh-huh,
Go over here. Go to web service. This one, web service soap clients. Okay. You
yeah,
built it. You provide visual soap endpoint and all, right? If certificate use,
yeah,
you can able to import it. Okay. So options is there over here. So that's how we are going to consume it.
okay. Now back to the main functionality, which is like consuming third-party API, different services, like whether a direct API or XML or whatever. Is there a way with this design to do a kind of documentation also, like for someone like who didn't work on design before, so they can come and read the documentation? Is there a built-in documentation functionality, or you need to figure it out? Like when I see this design in front of me, is there any way I can put a document somewhere to explain what each node is doing and what's,
Yes.
does it
So
have such
this is very
functionality?
simple, right? Each node, right? This one.
Yeah,
Let's say, for example, this start step is their set property branch, right? It's very simple. Okay.
yeah,
You need to know the logic. I mean, you should aware of this one, and then you would be able to place that one. Let's say that's what I have told. Let's say in your requirement you need to set something, right? So which step you are going to use it, right? Initially you don't know, right? You are not aware of that one. So
yeah,
what you have to do is you have to drag this each step and read on top two lines. Okay,
uh-huh,
this is the
uh-huh,
first step. Let's say, for example, this you don't know anything and you are not aware of anything. You bring these steps over here, right? Top
yeah,
two line. If you read, it will get an idea. So what it's saying: use map to transform data from one format to another, or more specifically, from one profile to another. Right? The map set
uh,
reference to three different components. So this gives you two lines of informations. If even though you are not satisfied, this I informations is there, right? I.
yeah,
So if you
yeah,
bring your mouse right and click on that, it will directly take you to the documentations. Okay. So in
uh-huh,
documentations also it is explained nicely, right? So see, two
okay,
lines is given over here and below explanations is given over here, right? And what you can do is on the right hand side also, map, adding a map process also you can do it, right?
uh-huh. Okay. Another question is the document which I received about what does it contain and the course. It says I'm responsible to get the license for Boomi.
For
Uh,
license for your real time.
yeah, I mean how this course will
Okay.
work in terms of like
So,
practice. If
okay,
I
tell
want
you.
to do exactly what you are doing and just doing those tests that you're gonna explain.
Okay.
So I have to create
So,
my own platform and sign up for
no,
my
no.
own account.
For your practice purpose, right?
Yeah.
Two things are there over here for the platform to how to get it and how. For your practice purpose, right? You have your corporate email ID, right?
Okay. But I don't want to use corporate. Like, is there a way to use to? I mean,
Personal
you
email
don't.
address. No, see, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
For your practice purpose,
Mhm.
Boomi is very flexible. You don't have to pay anything. Okay.
Okay.
Just you have to create your account in the Boomi platform.
Okay.
One thing is there why they are asking you have to use your corporate ID for training account. Okay.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
What is the reason for that? I'll tell you. If you use your personal ID, right, what will happen is most of the thing is not enabled. This you see in execute part, this shapes you see, and the logic part, this shapes, right? Most of the thing is not enabled, and you won't be able to configure. Okay, for your
Okay. Okay.
but if you give your corporate ID, it's free of cost. Okay, corporate ID, Boomi will provide you the access to training account for 90 days. Okay, within that 90 days, everything would be enabled, and in that they will give you two licenses. Okay, minimum two connections is needed for any integrations, right? Source target, right? So they will give you two licenses to work on that. Okay,
Okay.
once 90 days is over, right? You can reactivate your account as well. Again, it's
Okay.
on free of cost. They won't charge anything. Okay, you can
Yeah.
reactivate after 90 days. You can reactivate your account, and again the same features they will give you. So training account every 90 days you can reactivate, and two licenses they will give you to work on to make a practice for you.
Okay.
You don't have to pay anything, right?
Yeah.
Coming to your licensed one, right? For licensed, usually organizations they used to place a code to the Dell guy, right? Dell have a separate team, right? You have to contact them for your corporate account, right?
Uh-huh.
So they will how much licenses you required accordingly you can you contact them and you can get it. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
but for training account, right, you don't have to pay anything. Okay, it's free of cost nowadays, and even
Okay.
certification is also free. Okay, they are not charging anything, Boomi.
Okay. Uh, Another question now. What's the timing for this course and how long the course will take? I don't have any ideas
Okay,
about.
so you are located in which time zone?
I'm Eastern time zone, Canada.
Eastern time zone, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in IST time zone, right? So two things are there. Weekdays, Monday to Friday. Okay,
Mhm.
Monday to Friday would be my morning time would be your evening time, right?
Okay. Means similar to now.
Yes,
like
similar to now.
like the
Okay.
same today, like the same
Same
today,
today,
but
okay?
start something early. Manoj, will you available by 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock, I can be available. It's too early, but I can be available. Okay, it's
Okay.
another.
Our 7 means is 9:30. He's in
Okay, so
East.
another options. What we can do is weekdays, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Mhm.
Week.
Since you know most of the thing in integrations, right? You are aware of that one, right? So Saturday, I believe if you come on Saturday, Sunday, right, then I can be comfortable with your time, anytime.
Okay.
Like your morning, your morning would be my evening, right? So I will be
Yeah.
available your